Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host Jay. I'm here with my co-host Micah,
Hey,
Tiara,
Hey,
and Terrence.
what's up?
All right, guys, we're back. This is episode 246. They Cloned Tyrone. You can watch this streaming on Netflix right now. The film obviously stars Jamie Foxx, John Boyega, and Teyonah Parris. The story is the logline here is a series of eerie events thrust an unlikely trio onto the trail of a nefarious government conspiracy in this pulpy mystery caper. I think it probably needs to be said for some people that this is a blaxploitation movie and that you should be expecting to see black people in stereotypical roles, but that's kind of the point.
why does that need to be clarified, Jay? What has happened lately on social media to inspire you to say such a thing?
Because people were only born 10 years ago, apparently, and just who are film critics, call themselves film critics, didn't bother to watch anything that came out before 227 was on the air. So, congratulations.
227?
It was just a rant.
227.
Nigga, that was 40 years ago.
First of all, that was more than 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know. It's the first thing that came to my mind for some fucking strange reason. Yeah, I guess they weren't alive when that came out either. Either way.
You could have said like sister,
one of
sister,
these-
or something like that.
Like, one of the co-hosts wasn't even born when 227 was out. You realize
part
that,
of the
right? That was
problem.
like 1987.
Were you not
That was
born
the
in
most
87?
Nigga, that was the most
You know
random
when I was
fucking
born.
television show I've ever
We've
heard
gone over
somebody
this.
say.
It was the most random thing that popped in my mind. Okay, so that's funny.
I'm sorry, 1985.
Okay, yeah, Tiara, you were
God damn.
thought maybe.
I was -6.
God, all right, that's unacceptable. Well, your generation is part of the problem. All right, so
I'm 30.
we are all newly seeing this movie. I'm gonna go to Terrence first. What did you think of They Cloned Tyrone?
I saw it about a week and a half ago. When did I see it? Saturday? Last Saturday? I liked it. I enjoyed it. And then I thought about it for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, a lot of that didn't make any fucking sense. I thought, like, after I finished, I'm like, I really like this movie. But then I thought about it like 10 minutes later. I'm like, there's some loose ends that need to be,
There's something about that ultimate plan that don't really make sense to me.
it don't add up at all. But besides that, I enjoyed it. I like the actors. Like John Boyega I don't think he's missed yet as far as anything he's been in, except for maybe Star Wars. I don't know. I only saw one Star Wars movie.
That's nice.
I only saw the first one. After that, I was like, I don't give a fuck. Teyonah Parris, Jamie Foxx. It took a little bit of time for me to like warm up to his character because it was almost like too much.
Yeah, it was over the top. I agree with that.
Yeah, but then I just kind of fell into a groove after a while. Plot was interesting. Again, like when I finished it, I'm like, that was pretty cool. But then stuff fell apart at the end. Overall, I enjoyed it though. I had fun with it.
Okay.
Like niggas are conspiratorial, like we always say. And this is basically a movie about conspiracies.
Right. Tiara, what were your thoughts?
So I just watched it. So I am so curious to know like why the movie fell apart for you, Terrence, because there were some parts at the end where I was like, is Teyonah Parris the person here keep low-key referring to? The one thing that kind of made me go was like the makeup for Fontaine toward it. I was like, that's, I mean, obviously John Boyega, but it was just like some of the makeup was like a little, I don't want to say bad, but not the best. There was a part with a fried chicken, and I was just like, so this place is basically hip hop. Like if we're talking about all like the white powder and stuff, that's basically what hip hop puts on that chicken.
I didn't even put that together, but you might be fucking right.
I was like, all them dead hip hops in Baltimore. I'm like, this hip hop does have some like they do put crack on the chicken. I thought the plot was, it was interesting. I I was like, so it's so funny because I definitely think there's probably some folks who watch this and who were like, I bet you they do that for real, yo.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty sure
100%.
some.
They're like, this is a documentary. 100%.
But I mean, basically, I was like, so white folks would rather clone people and enlist a black man who has a legitimate grievance or trauma rather than deal with the original sin of slavery. So I was just like, okay. And
I mean,
then
that
I
doesn't
was
seem
like,
that far fetched to me. If I'm being honest. Makes a lot of sense.
like I was like, boy, whiteness would go to lengths to just avoid treating black people humanely and dealing with the fact that they enslaved black folks. And then with one of the characters, I was like, oh, so this is how black conservatives are born, and why they would say something that assimilation is better than annihilation. Shout out to Ice Cube in our preview episode last week. Oh, and then there was the title, like when the movie started, I was like, oh, this guy's name is not Tyrone. I was like, so where did they get Tyrone from? And then at the end, I was like, oh, so that's Tyrone. But I was like, but why? So yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll. Well,
I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
And then they had a really good ending song. Like I feel like the ending song came before the title. They were like, I know what we can call this.
But like, I mean, I get that, but like, but why? But what?
Right.
I just, I don't know. Maybe I'm not explaining myself correctly because
I think you might be overthinking the title.
Okay.
That
All right.
titles are usually one of the last things that get,
And Tyrone is like stereotypical black, right? Like when I was a kid, when like I would be stopped by the cops and they would ask me what my name was, I always say Tyrone Jenkins. Like that's a true story, by the way. I'm dead serious. That was my fake name.
Well, we all know that whenever Jay is talking about a black man, he uses the name Tyrone.
That's fucked up.
So that all makes sense.
No, it's fucked up that we use the same fake name. That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I liked it. It was cool. I loved Teyonah Parris. She was my favorite part of the film. But John Boyega was really great too. So
yeah. All right, Micah, your thoughts?
Yeah, for the most part, I liked it. I thought performances were pretty great from Teyonah Parris and John Boyega. Jamie Foxx kind of laying it on a little too. He's kind of in living color bag a little bit. He's laying it on a little too thick for me. But it was fine, right? And I mean, look, I liked the movie. I just didn't like it as much as everyone else. I think I kind of got swept up in the hype. People are like, "Oh, this is amazing! This is amazing!" Like, yo, I've seen this plot twice before in Three the Hard Way, where it's a government conspiracy to commit genocide on black people by poisoning the drinking water. And I saw it in Black Dynamite, where it's a government conspiracy to regulate black people by putting food in the chicken. Like, and that was a black exploitation. Right. And
there's a Black Dynamite reference in this movie.
Oh, you'll have to let me know when we get to it. But that's a bad idea, in my opinion, because like you're taking the same plot, But that's fine, Like there's only a certain number of stories that can be told. It's just really weird that like I vividly remember seeing all of these movies recently because of this show, right? That this is a recurring theme for us. But my biggest issue is with the end. I don't think that character would resort to what he is doing. The old man. I don't think that's not the thought process that I would have if that happened to my little brother. That is not the thought process that I would have. I guess we better assimilate. I guess we better act like these people that murdered my younger brother. What the fuck? No. That doesn't make sense to me. Like that's what kills the movie for me. Not kills the movie, but that's a big black eye on this movie for me. Because I need somebody to make that make sense to me. How they would get to how old Fontaine would get to that mindset given his backstory.
I agree.
Yeah.
Did they explain what? I know they explained how the brother died, but did they explain like why that happened in the first place? I don't remember that part. If they, I know this is a version.
Like he gets pulled over by the cops or something. It's just like because of racism.
Yeah. And because racism, because a white cop is in his like white cop mode and fucking kills his little brother. And so his thought is, all black people gotta be white? What the fuck? No,
Literally,
no. If I'm cloning a bunch of niggas, we're gonna clone to take over. Like that's my mentality. Like if old Fontaine's motivation,
that would have actually been a clever plot twist of like I don't really fuck with these white people like that. I'm just trying to make more of us. Like okay, like all right, then I kind of get it.
Oh yeah, and
I get his motivation. His motivation should have been different. Ironically, his motivation should have been homeboy from the Blackenings, the same motivation as his, where he's lashing out at these black people because he was called white or because he wasn't black enough for them, right? Oh, I'm not black enough for you? Well, I'm going to make all of us white. You call me white, I'm going to make all of us white. How about that?
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't, I mean, I know you're not supposed to rewrite movies, but that, you know, that one thing at the end just kind of, it didn't square with me.
Well, but okay. In fairness to the movie, if they had done that, then you could easily have the same complaint, which is you've seen that done before, right? Like in fairness,
I've seen this plot done before 3 different times.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like we just did the Blackening, and then it would be the same. You know, it would be the kind of the same plot.
Yeah.
Same motivation. That doesn't necessarily mean that I disagree with you, because I actually do agree with you. Look, I thought the movie was pretty fun. I agree that Teyonah Parris and John Boyega, very specifically, were both really, very good in this. Jamie Foxx is definitely laying it on thick, but I had the same response that Terrence had, which was in the beginning I was like, this is a little over the top for me, and then it kind of settled down for me, and then I was like, all right, like it was working for me. But yeah, overall, I thought it was pretty good. It was kind of fun to see the person who played Nixon in the movie. Like I just found that funny that it was him. I was like,
yeah, I didn't.
It was random.
It just came out of nowhere. I was like, all right,
like where have you been? So I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed the movie overall. I agree. The motivation for the villain doesn't really make any sense. I would have probably gone with something like, hey, you know, my brother was like, if you're gonna do like my brother was killed, so let's do this assimilation thing, then make it like a black cop killed him, right? Like, I don't know. And then like a white cop tried to save him, or, you know, you have like a twisted sort of view of the world perspective. Then it would have made sense in a twisted way, but like it didn't really make sense to just be like, my brother was killed by a white cop, so we all want to be white now. Like that doesn't, I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy it. I don't think necessarily it's the sleeper hit of the year for me, but I think it's very good. And I think Netflix has a lot of garbage, and it's nice to see something that was legitimately well done.
Yeah, I watched it before all the hype. Like I watched it like Saturday morning, right? And then like Sunday, everybody was like, "This is the greatest." I'm like, y'all need to calm down. It's fun, but like, stop. Like,
I don't.
Black folks. I mean, I get it.
I don't think people
like
see.
We see ourselves, and or if they do, they look. Tyler Perry's a billionaire for a reason.
Right, exactly. And it's either one extreme or the other, right? Like it's either this movie was co-written by a white man, so it shouldn't exist, right? Or or yo, this is the greatest movie ever because it speaks to us directly.
Yeah, so wild dichotomy. Like it's really strange.
And
but yeah, overall,
the truth is always somewhere in the middle.
Right. Yeah, but overall,
I mean, it was fine. The movie was fine. Can it just be fine?
Nah.
Honestly, it's a little more than fine. Like I
actually enjoyed it a lot.
I really enjoyed this movie. Like despite my misgivings with the ending, I thought the movie was a good time. But
yeah. But I'm like, can it just be just that and then
Nah, it's got to get nominated for an Oscar. It's got to get nominated for an Oscar, and if it doesn't get nominated for an Oscar,
I saw someone say this is an 8 top 5 best greatest movie.
Yo, come on!
I said, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
I did see some people call it. I saw some people call it an instant classic. I don't know.
It's like wow, wow. I mean, look, it's fun. Again, like there's nothing wrong with it besides like the ending and the plan that they came up with that has some plot holes. But like the top 5? How old are you? 7?
Days? 7 days old?
Or do you just not watch a lot of movies? Because I mean, I can understand we're in a bubble because we this is what we do. We fucking watch movies, and we've seen a lot of movies. But that's a crazy statement to me. Top 5.
Yeah. This isn't. I mean, no offense to this movie. Again, I enjoyed it thoroughly, but this isn't not in my top 5. This isn't even in my top 5 black movies. It's not even in my top 5 blaxploitation movies. It's not even in my top 5 Jamie Foxx movies. Like it's not. Like I'm sorry, it's not. So yeah, it's a little weird, but yeah, overall, I dug it. I think people should watch it. I mean, we're probably being a little bit too harsh on certain points here, but overall, yeah, I think it's a very good time. I think everybody like there's a lot of movies. Like when things are like kind of vibing well with like the cast and everything else, you can kind of tell. And this movie, you can tell that all 3 of the main characters, they were actually having fun. Like you could, I guarantee you there's a blooper reel or something where they're just having a good time making this movie. And it really kind of shows up on screen when like those 3 principal characters have like very good chemistry and stuff like that. And it comes off, as at least it feels very obvious to me that they're all getting along and like really having a good time with their parts. So that can carry a movie from, not that this is a mediocre movie, but that can carry a mediocre movie into a quite a well done movie if people are actually seemingly excited to be there. And they definitely are. And it's a good movie to begin with. So that's a good thing. I mean, ironically, I feel like this movie, because people knew it was coming out, was this the reason that people just jumped to Jamie Foxx was cloned, right? Because they heard the word cloned in a movie that he was going to be in. I mean, I feel like that's 85% of that, right? Like they're like, he trying to tell us something through the movie titles. Like, nah, he's just sick. Like,
are you serious? That's a real thing.
You didn't hear anything
people
about
thought he was cloned.
Yeah, he came out when he made that statement after he was like feeling better. He was like, "I'm not cloned," and they were like, "That's what a clone would say." It's wild. It's fucking crazy.
So the internet really shows you how people are really fucking stupid. How dumb people really are. Like it does.
Yeah.
It does.
I mean, if you're a good faith actor, or like
if you're a good
actor,
he said good faith actor. Like
that's not what that
whoever that was. You're a fucking idiot. If you're watching this episode, like you're an idiot. Jesus Christ!
Why you look so mad, John?
It's so stupid. Maybe because I'm just not on social media as much anymore, and it's just when I hear these things, I'm like, people should probably go outside. I don't know, but then again, go outside, you may run into a clone. Who knows? You may see a bunch of clones just
Yeah, they
running
clone 'em.
outside or whatever.
Yeah, they cloning folks, man. Like that's how it works. Meanwhile, like
They were like,
HBO
why
Max
the
don't
fuck
work
would
on
they
your
clone-
iPhone, but they cloning people. Yeah, that's what you believe. All right.
They were like, they got the technology to clone people. Why would they clone Jamie Foxx?
Of all people, like, and I love
For
Jamie
what?
Foxx. Like for what?
No,
reason?
he's a fucking national treasure, but like, for what?
Like clone somebody who can do some science. The planet's dying. Like, nah, just do the dude who can be funny. Like, okay.
Nah, yo. If they could clone people, first of all, if they could clone people, they'd be cloning white people. Okay, because
Exclusively. Exclusively.
like, come on, yo. They would be cloned. They would clone one black person to see if it works, and then they would get rid of the evidence, and then they would clone a bunch of white people, and then they would clone a bunch of they would clone a bunch of white generals to help them figure out how to take their country back or whatever fucking bullshit.
Yeah, because the idea was to maintain peace in America, and then Fontaine was like, the invisible strings above me, which I'm assuming are white people. Why would they clone more
Drug dealers and pimps.
I get that, right? They're cloning drug dealers and pimps because they want to keep the black population in check.
That makes
right?
sense.
That makes sense. But the whole I'm going to clone enough of us and then turn us white through generational breeding doesn't.
But
nah,
like,
yo.
won't that make?
I mean,
like,
ain't that kind of happening now? I've seen a lot of fucking mulattoes out there in the streets.
don't use that word.
You can't use that term. Oh my god!
You can't use mulatto. You have to say
Bro.
mixed, Terrence. You have to say
Mixed.
mixed.
Good.
Like
I
a
can't
No,
dog.
HR, please.
Mixed? Oh.
Yes.
Mixed,
My daughter's
mulatto,
mulatto.
whatever.
I don't care for this.
No,
term. I don't
cannot
care for this term.
use this term. Jesus.
Tiara
They know what
joked,
they're in for.
Look, Tiara joked before the show that we need an HR department, and I firmly disagree with that. If y'all want more episodes, we do not need an HR department.
I did not get that memo. I did
No.
not know mulatto was offensive.
Oh my god.
I didn't know it was offensive.
Stop
either.
it.
I thought mixed was offensive. I didn't know mulatto. I thought isn't mulatto like the technical term? Like
Why do we
Negro?
keep saying
it
it?
quite literally is not the technical term. I hate both.
Oh, I don't know.
I just looked at it's in dictionary. Mulatto, a person of
Oh.
mixed white and black ancestry, especially a person with one white and one black parent.
Well, there
It's
you
in
go.
the
It's
dictionary.
It is
No, it's
not.
not.
It is not acceptable
It's
in
in
anymore
the
2023.
dictionary.
It doesn't matter.
If the word is in the dictionary, I can say it according to Webster. Like,
No.
that's not how that works.
That's not how that works
That's not how that works.
at all.
So what am I supposed to say?
It's just biracial.
Mixed, biracial.
I was about to say something else offensive.
no, George Jefferson. You can't say zebra. That's not fucking cool.
I wasn't gonna say that.
Well, I said it, and I can say it
Oh,
because my
Jesus.
kid is. It's fine. I get a pass. They
I got half
respect me.
nigga kids.
I also,
I got half nigga kids. It's okay.
like, I also don't think that works either.
No, I don't think I would ever refer to my daughter as either one of those things. Although they did in the blackening, they were like, "Oh shit, isn't that you?" And it was a picture of a zebra. That was fucked up. That shit was hilarious.
Funny. Fuck.
It's funny.
Anyway,
You have to have a sense of humor about these things. It's like it just
yeah, we're
is what it
old.
is.
We're not that progressive. I'm not that progressive. Sorry.
Certain
Again, I
things
didn't
are
You're
know that.
41.
Too.
Okay, whatever.
It's like
Yeah,
it's actually worse than you thought. I'm 42.
Yeah,
Same
like,
thing.
sorry. Like there's certain things you get stuck in your ways.
Mm-mm.
I'm more progressive on camera than off. I'll tell you that much right now.
That's 100%.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. Like I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Bro.
It is funny.
Yeah, we're real jerky.
We grew up as teenagers in the 90s, for God's sakes. Like
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, it's
Like for real. Like, I graduated in 1999.
Go back and watch some old episodes of Def Comedy Jam when Martin was hosting and just doing
Nigga, what?
crowd.
Again, I did a watch through of Seinfeld. I watched old episodes of Seinfeld.
And
That
it's
show is
offensive.
incredibly offensive.
Yeah.
But anyway,
In 1999, I was 8 years old. 7
you weren't,
months.
you weren't even
see,
old
you were
enough to
being
be truly
protected
offensive.
from that stuff. Yeah, you were being
Your parents
protected.
cared and shit. They're like, nah, don't go outside. I'm like, nah.
No,
Not
I
ours.
mean,
Our parents were like, get on a bike. We'll see you this evening. Like, they didn't give a
We'll
fuck.
see you at 7:30.
Yeah, streetlights. Nigga.
8.
Like, that was
Yeah.
Streetlights, whatever.
All right, so let's get into this movie.
No.
They cloned Tyrone. So Fontaine, played by John Boyega, is a drug dealer in a retrofuturistic neighborhood. That is a weird thing to write. I didn't get retrofuturistic.
You couldn't really tell what. Well, you couldn't tell what year it took place in.
That's true.
Yeah.
Until like
Yeah.
the end when like you saw your first cell phone on the news, which is weird. But
Yeah, I mean, only just because of the way this guy is dressed in this beginning, like I assume that it's not the 70s.
Oh yeah.
But like there's cars and things like that are very much like big Cadillacs and shit like that, but niggas drive that kind of shit now. So wow, that woman is very attractive. I did not notice her at first. Yeah, so
Walking into the store.
that is correct. So Fontaine, played by John Boyega, is a drug dealer in a retro-futuristic neighborhood called the Glen, with odds against him and a schedule he keeps daily. So we're kind of introduced to him. He's like lifting weights or whatever, and this is it his brother? I guess goes to see him.
No, it's a little kid. It's a little kid.
That's a little kid,
in the neighborhood.
Oh yeah, just like that's right, like in his neighborhood or whatever. And so they go around, and they're having this like funny little conversation about whether or not Fontaine watches SpongeBob SquarePants. Apparently, he does in fact, but I just found that to be weird. But because Fontaine's a drug dealer, he's like trying to get his money and all this other shit, and this one dude is trying to talk shit. And Fontaine hits him with his car and breaks the guy's leg. It's a hell of a way to start, to show that he's not fucking around. Like if he wants his money, he's gonna get his money, right?
Yeah. But the kid is basically a snitch, so the kid kind of like gives him information because he's riding around on the bike, and he told him that this guy is where he was,
right?
And he needed to get his money, so
yeah.
And this guy has a flip phone, so like it could have been like 2004.
Yeah,
like I have no idea what year it is.
Yeah, back when
It could be now. They got flip phones now.
Oh yeah,
that are all glass.
Yeah,
like what the fuck?
No, that was
he had a razor.
Yeah, that was a razor. Where you used to just like hit niggas with a clack when you hung up on them. Like, I miss that. Hanging up on people was awesome. So yeah, we get to see this other drug dealer, whatever. He calls his boss. He's like, "Look, Fontaine just hit me with his car, broke my leg," and so he's like, "All right, we're gonna get this nigga like later on." Then we see Fontaine go back to his own house, and he's talking to his mom through the door, asking if she wants some food, and she's like, "No, I'm all right." Like, but she never opens the door, right? Then we see commercials on TV for hot box chicken, where black people are literally dancing and singing in a chicken commercial, which is wildly unacceptable behavior to me.
As soon as I saw this chicken commercial, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Well,
It's got to be,
Yep.
this is
Yeah, you
right.
already knew.
Is it?
It's called
It's
hot
the
box chicken, yo. It's called
God,
hot
and
box.
I mean, look, I got a little
the commercial
hungry
literally
when I
say
saw the
"goddamn hot box chicken."
Herbs and
That did.
spices at discounted prices. That's what the fucking ad was. That's fucked up. It's also genius. Yeah, that's a pretty good jingle. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, but the Black Dynamite reference, he gets Anaconda liquor when he goes to the store. That's the
Okay.
And it's got and there's like a big sign on the side of the liquor store too.
No, that's
okay.
funny. So yeah, it's so again, they're kind of just establishing that here he is a drug dealer. You're going to meet Jamie Foxx's character later on. That's a pimp, and you meet Teyonah Parris's character, who is a hooker, right? Again, we'll explain what blaxploitation is to folks in a minute.
Like, is hooker offensive now?
I don't think hooker.
Yeah, isn't it? No, it's
Isn't it
sex work.
sex worker?
Sex worker.
Sex
Yeah, you gotta
worker.
say sex work.
Nah, yo, she's hooking, yo. Like that's what hooking.
Like, that's the same thing as sex
The term is sex worker.
No, because people putting their feet on. No,
You know, look,
people
don't
putting
come
their
for
feet
me.
on OnlyFans.
I don't wanna hit.
OnlyFans are not the same as a hooker.
She is
they're
a
very
sex
different.
worker.
Yeah, no, that is the name of her occupation. Like overall, like she works in the sex industry. I get that, but she's hooking. Like specifically, she's hooking. Also, bring back hooking.
Yeah, but
that's
that's
a great term.
But that's derogatory.
Is
Why?
whore
She's the
still
one
a pro-
doing it.
Is whore still
Yes.
No,
yes,
that's
it is
not
appropriate.
Yes, yes.
appropriate?
No,
Whore is
no,
appropriate.
it's not appropriate. No. Oh my God, we need an HR. This is why we need an HR. Jesus Christ.
No, trauma.
I mean, because
it's
like
trauma, right? It's trauma.
No,
Lady
of the
evening?
night.
Yeah.
no.
flap
a
up.
little
Sex
bit more.
worker. Sex worker.
Okay.
You know, I was
It's
gonna
not that
say a
hard.
really fucked up one. I'm not going to. That's just mean.
What about hoe?
I mean, Jamie Foxx calls her a hoe. He does. He
Yeah.
really does.
That's messed up,
A
yo.
fictional.
That's messed up. She is a whore. Whores get paid. Hoes do it for the love of the game. She is
But
not
that's
a
true.
hoe.
That's true.
All are sex
That's true.
workers.
Yeah.
Sex workers.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Apparently,
Okay.
TR
Like,
is.
it's like all right, yeah, but look, no offense to anybody flipping burgers, but they're not a chef. You know what I mean? Like, there's degrees to the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's degrees, yo. It's degrees. Like, come on, man.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yo,
It's
we
true. It's true.
Look, we doing a podcast. We ain't DJs. You
Right.
know what
Exactly.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
That's true. That's true.
That's funny.
That there are degrees. He's not wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with discussing the degrees to which you're hooking and or selling feet pics on OnlyFans. I think that's okay. It's all sex work. There's nothing wrong with sex work, by the way. There's nothing wrong with that.
I swear to
like,
God,
if
if you people,
A blowjob is still a job.
Oh,
If you-
Jesus Christ.
It
if
is.
you people on YouTube don't have a
Let's-
sense of humor, you can just turn this shit off right now. Just turn this shit off right now.
How
This
dare
is-
you?
I am sending an employee survey to the four of us.
Who?
Go ahead. I ain't filling it out.
You ain't gonna make me
Anonymous.
do extra work. All right. Knock it off.
I am establishing an in-house HR for us to
Look,
go
you know
over.
what? You run it. You run it. All right.
Yes, I will run the our HR department.
Well, you know what?
Oh,
You're,
but- but-
you're
oh, but
fired
you know, actually,
immediately
you know
for
what?
negligence.
You know what? It would be the black woman that would have to get you niggas in line, of course.
That, look,
Ugh.
whatever, however you
Also-
however you want to do it.
Would just like to also point out the black woman in this movie, the black main character, Teyonah Parris' character, not impacted by the white man's hypnosis. Just
I
you know,
noticed that, and I thought they were going to make some commentary on that, and I think that was kind of a missed opportunity.
yeah, they didn't, but you know,
They slightly did, but they really didn't. I mean, they made a commentary on why they didn't choose her, but like they didn't like stick the landing at the end. So you know.
Right. Okay, so back to the film. We meet Jamie Foxx's character as he's sort of dressing down one of his
Hookers.
sex employees.
Okay. Or one of his
Vaginal
Yeah.
employees.
oh Jesus,
that's,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Fine.
That's
Oh, sorry.
like
That's
yeah, that's like saying yeast infection. Like that's not.
stop! Ew.
Really a lot of it. So anyway,
Oh, man.
So she's one of his hookers, and so I guess he's sort of a pimp, not a particularly effective one, but he's laying it on pretty thick as far as this character, right? She's going on about basically using her Johns to get to make money to like invest in blockchain and all this other stuff. So she's a hooker with a plan, if you will. And so she ends up leaving, and Boyega's character is trying to come see, what is his name? Slick
Charles.
Slick Charles.
Thank you. And that's Jamie Foxx's character. And her name is Yo-Yo, by the way. And so Boyega's over there trying to find Slick Charles so he can get his money. He sees Yo-Yo on his way out. And she's like, yeah, like basically get your boy. He in there. And so he goes to see Slick Charles. And this is where like it was kind of a changeover for me, because when he first came on the screen, I was like, I don't know. But there's a couple of funny moments in this scene where he's talking shit to John Boyega, who he's clearly scared of. Like, he clearly thinks this guy is like pretty fucking dangerous. But he's like, yeah, like keep walking, nigga, and like saying all this shit behind his back. And then when he turns around, he's like, oh yeah, no, it's cool, like no problem. Which I thought was pretty funny. It's a good interaction for how serious Boyega's character is to how silly Slick Charles is. And so he's like, look, like I'll get you your money, whatever. Like, get the fuck out. Like afterwards, after he takes some money off of him anyway. And so Fontaine leaves. And while he's sitting in his car, another car pulls up behind him, which is not a good sign. And so he's blocked in. He realizes it's an ambush from some of the dudes from earlier, the guy that he broke his leg, and the other guy that got called. And so he tries to get out and start shooting, and gets shot like 6 times in the chest and gets killed. And then that's the end of the movie. My wife was like, damn, I thought he was the main character. And I'm just thinking to myself as I'm sitting here, I'm like, do you remember the title of the movie? Like, okay. I was like, all right, like, I'm just not going to say anything.
That's one of those situations where I do to Stewie. You ever seen the meme where Stewie looks at it like,
I was just
okay. Like, all right.
I was like, you're going to find out in T-3 seconds. And she was like, and then we see Boyega's character wake up and he's fine. And she's like, oh, it's a dream sequence. I was like, that's not what's happening. Okay. That's pretty funny. I was just like,
oh, man.
So then we actually see the shot up version of Fontaine walking down the street all bloody, and then a black truck comes and grabs him up and takes him. And meanwhile, the Fontaine that just woke up, who was fine, is watching this all happen. And it's just like a all blacked out SUV. So Fontaine goes, this new Fontaine goes and sees Slick Charles. And by the way, Slick Charles knows that he was shot a bunch of times. So he's very concerned why the fuck he's seeing basically a ghost, right? He's like, nah, fuck that. You had a bunch of, like, you should have a bunch of tubes in you. Like, you got shot all these times. How the fuck are you here? And like, you're doing fine. But then, like, it's weird, right? Because like this performance in this scene is very strange. Like, he's using like words like haberdashery and shit like that. Like, it just doesn't go. He did call him the ghost of Christmas past nigga, which I appreciated.
Ghost of Christmas past ass nigga.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
You put ass nigga at the end of something, it just makes it funny. It just does.
Yeah, it does. So he's like super confused as to like how the fuck is he walking around. And so then he's
before you continue, what's his name? Fontaine has this ritual. Well, I guess you could call it a ritual. He goes to the liquor store, he comes home, and then he asks his mother if she wants something to eat. Like he every day he does the same thing. He's like, he goes to his mother's room, knocks on the door, never opens it, but like, and his mother's like, nah, I'm good. And then he goes on about his day. That's right. Important.
And he also stops to talk to Frog, the old man outside of
the old man. He always pours him some
beer,
liquor, and then he says some weird shit that he doesn't understand.
Right. That is also important later. So Slick Charles and Fontaine, they go to see Yo-Yo because Fontaine is like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, let's go see Yo-Yo. She saw you last night. Like, she knows what the fuck is going on. And so he's like, yeah, wasn't that, didn't you hear like gunshots and all this other shit? And she was like, yeah, I did. I thought you were dead. I thought you might have killed Slick Charles. And so she's not really validating Slick Charles's theory. But again, like immediately, and this is where I thought it was a little weird. Immediately after hearing like, "Nah, you should have been dead," Fontaine is like, "Cool, I believe you. I should have died. I guess something strange is going on. Let's go check it out." Like that's a very weird thing to not just be like, "Nah, you guys are fucking crazy." Like your character is way too easy to believe this conspiracy theory immediately that they're a part of it.
While they're driving, he sees the black SUV that he saw earlier when he saw what looked like himself. And I think that coupled with the fact that these two are like, something ain't right. I think that, like, I see what you're saying. Like I'm kind of working with the movie to try and get myself there.
Yeah.
But
it's like one sentence, and he's like, "All right, yeah, I'm all in. Let's do it." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Whereas I think it's more like one sentence, and then I saw a random ass truck, and I'm like, "All right, now let's do it." Right? Like it's
still a bit of a leap, but that's okay. I mean, none of this stuff is supposed to be reasonable. They go inside this house that they see the SUV at. One of the greatest movies of all time is playing in the background, of course, Bloodsport. When that asshole Bolo cheated by throwing that dust in Van Damme's face. It was fucked up. So they're looking around trying to figure out what's going on. There's like shift information, like punch out cards and shit like that. So they're trying to figure like why is this in a regular house? And then Yo-Yo finds a coffee that's still warm. So she's like, like that's kind of strange considering the house looks abandoned. They look around. They eventually find an elevator in the house, which is not normal. And for some reason, these three crazy motherfuckers get on the elevator. Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, no.
Nah, I'd be like, nah, let's go get 12 of our friends and then come back. I'm not going down there.
To Slick Charles's credit, Slick Charles is like, what? No.
It's like, no, I'm ready.
I mean, but I feel like once you kind of see that Fontaine, who was very much not dead and walking around and alive and well after you've seen him get shot like 6 times, is getting on an elevator really that far of a stretch after that?
No, I'm not trying to investigate. I'm not Nancy Drew. I'm not Nancy Drew. I don't go looking for trouble. I want to. No.
No, I'm not getting in an elevator, yo. Like, forget it. That's what a white person would do in a horror movie. I'm not going. No, absolutely not. So they eventually get down to the bottom floor. That's so funny. Like, Yo-Yo's dressed what I would argue is like a fucking X-Men in a 90s cartoon comic book. Like, she looks ridiculous. There's one white guy in this basement with an afro. With an afro, listening to that's Michael Jackson. Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, which is just fucking hilarious. And I guess this guy's a part of the scientific experiments that are going on as well.
Nigga, look, I thought this was Keegan-Michael Key at first, yo.
That's fucked up.
Fucking afro, yo.
This guy looks so fucking silly. He just looks silly as shit. So yeah, they're just like, what the fuck is going on down here? And, and so they're all kind of like looking around, and then Slick Charles finds a pile of what he thought was cocaine and just starts trying it. I was like, that doesn't feel like a smart move. Like, is any powder you just putting it up your nose? But he tastes it, and he starts like giggling and laughing and acting all fucking silly. But then
I really like Jamie Foxx in the scene.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a good scene, right? Like I really where he's having fun, right? I did like when he picked up what he thought was a cocaine. He was like, "This ain't it, but I can ski on it." Like, and so he just takes the rest of it, which is
pulls out the Crown Royal bag.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's fun. It's a funny line. Yeah, so they're just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, and this guy is, of course, not giving them anything. And yeah, Jamie Foxx is stealing all of these drugs in a Crown Royal bag, like the blackest thing he could think of. He says, "Where do you find a white nigga with an afro?" And then he starts like laughing and giggling and shit. And so they're looking around, and while Yo-Yo and Slick Charles have guns on this white dude, Fontaine starts looking around a little bit further, and then he actually finds his dead body. We assume the previous one that just got shot up. So he starts freaking out, like rightfully so. And the camera lets you know that by having things upside down, like for a minute. He is just losing his fucking shit, which anybody would if you saw a cloned version of yourself. So they leave. They head back to Yo-Yo's.
Well,
place.
Slick Charles shoots dude in the head.
Oh, right.
Because he's like giggling and shit. And he shoots him in the face.
Also, because Yo-Yo was like playing around with like the things, with like the different substances in the bag, and she messes up, and it causes Slick Charles to jump and then shoot the guy.
Yeah. And like, it's so funny because they're like, "Oh, sorry, like my bad. Okay, like we gotta go. Like he just shot this dude."
Bye.
Yeah, they can't even take it seriously because they're so fucking high. They eventually go back to Yo-Yo's house, and Yo-Yo is like, "Listen, here's what we got to do. I know we got to investigate this shit because I read a bunch of Nancy Drew books." And I love that Fontaine from then on is like, "All right, so what's this Nancy Drew bitch gonna do next? like what would she do? Like Nancy Drew's a real person." And so basically she's like, "Look, you got to stay here and like let the heat die down. We just fucking killed this dude. Let's chill, and then we'll go back over there the next morning and down to Dexter's laboratory," which I thought was funny. And try to figure out what's going on. They eventually do. They go back over there. Fontaine goes back over there with some of his other friends. All of them have guns. And look, smartly, this is how you handle it. And they go over there, and the whole house is changed over. Like everything looks different. Somehow the elevator is gone. Like they can't get to the lab or anything. Like the whole thing got changed overnight. And of course his three buddies are like, "Sure, Grandma. Like let's lead you to the old folks home." Yeah, we got it. And so he just fucking leaves. And he's like, "Nah, fuck that," and he just drives off. Of course, leaving them there. He goes back to Yo-Yo's house, where Slick Charles is as well, and they're like, he tells them like, "Look, everything is fucking different. Everything is, it's just like a regular house, right?"
So Slick Charles is like, "Yo, I'm hungry. Let's go to Hip Hop Chicken and Hip Hop Fish and Chicken," and they do. And while they're and they're trying to figure out a plan, and while they're eating the chicken, they're like, "God damn, that's good ass chicken, boy! Wow, make you want to slap your mama or whatever, right?" And they notice that everybody is doing it. Everybody is just like giggling and shit. And Slick Charles is like, "Oh shit, it's the chicken! It's the chicken. They put some of that fucking hip hop fish and chicken seasoning on it, and it's making you loopy. It's making you act silly." And because of the secret ingredient, and it turns out the secret ingredient is the same stuff that Slick Charles consumed previously. So Yo-Yo decides she gonna investigate, and she gonna go in the back and seduce the restaurant manager, Bob Ross. And he looks very this is a white man with an afro, you see. And while she's like doing her thing, she discovers that everyone in the town is being surveyed or surveilled and recorded. And then she's like, "All right, come on, let's get out of here." Like, don't eat the chicken. Like because there's a line in front of hip hop, and she's like, don't eat the chicken. Right. So they go back in the car. They try to figure out a plan, and they're like, "Hey, let's go to this hair salon real quick." And they go to the hair salon and they realize, oh shit, they putting fried chicken seasoning in the hair care products. And when it's in your when it touches the scalp, it basically like it lobotomizes people to the point where they just get real relaxed and real susceptible to suggestion. Like they show these women complaining about everyday stuff, and as soon as the stuff gets into their hair, they're just like, well, maybe I'm just tripping, right? It makes them real docile. And they see that there's a shipment of Soul Glow or whatever coming in. So,
Too clean perm cream.
There's a shipment of Just For Me is being transported.
Not just for me. Are they playing the cassette tape when they send it to the lab?
TR, don't you dare!
Oh
don't you dare
my
sit
God!
on this
You
podcast
remember
and
that,
tell
right?
Yeah, don't
You
you
can't
dare.
tell me. I mean, that was the
used-
90s. Did you
We
use
used to
it?
use Just For Me. I remember the tape, all of that. But this is exactly why, folks. Like this is why you use DIY products like berries and juices and avocados and extra virgin olive oil and mayonnaise and all the other shit to make your own natural hair care products, so that way you don't fall for the white man's tricks and products.
What the fuck?
Mayonnaise? You put berries and mayonnaise?
You say mayonnaise? Like for real?
There are people who do use mayonnaise. Yes. I don't.
I mean, I've heard
like
TR
puts mayonnaise
hair
in
care
hair.
product.
That's wild.
I don't put mayonnaise in my hair. I don't put mayonnaise in my hair. I buy products because I'm
mayonnaise in them.
I'm lazy.
Man.
I don't have time to deal with it anymore. Extra virgin olive oil, avocado, all that stuff like that. Sometimes people use an aloe vera from an aloe vera plant.
Yeah,
Get you an aloe vera plant.
I get it. I'm not putting anything in. Mm-mm.
No, you're not.
Not anymore.
Oh.
Not putting
Well,
anything in your hair.
I put I put mayonnaise in my hair. Look what fucking happened. Listening to Tiara.
Looks great.
Yeah, Tiara was like, just open your spice cabinets and your refrigerator and just grab shit.
Well, Jay, if that happened to you, I clearly don't. So, because I can just.
Nah, don't take Tiara's advice. Yeah, you fucked up.
No, I'll take my advice.
Yeah, walking around with seafood salad in your goddamn hair. Ridiculous.
Use all the berries and juices for all your hair.
So Jamie Foxx, they convinced Jamie Foxx to get in the van where the shipment is being, that's delivering the shipment, and he gets trapped in there, and it takes off. So, Yo-Yo and Fontaine, they go to the liquor store, and they talk to this old alcoholic guy that Fontaine talks to every day, Frog, to try and see if he can, figure out where Jamie Foxx is, where Slick Charles is. And he's like, hey, he's at he's at a church, right? Mount Zion Church or whatever. And so they free Slick Charles out of the van, and they head to the church, and all of a sudden, like, there's David Allen Greer. Like, what the fuck? Like, shit,
it's
David Allen Greer.
David Allen Greer. I forgot he's got that beard going on now.
Yeah.
Well, he got like Frederick Douglass hair too.
Yeah, I was about to say he's looking like Frederick Douglass.
He is. I feel like David Allen Greer is a very highly respected comedian in our community, but he is an unbelievably unappreciated comedian overall. Like, outside of our community, completely underrated. I think people know who David Allen Greer is, but I don't think people realize just how like pivotal, especially in comedy, especially in the 90s, he was.
And he's a fucking classically trained actor, also.
Oh, is he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
dude is great. Like he's always been great.
Yeah, he's a very good actor.
So yeah, like this is this performance is almost reminiscent of Arsenio Hall's performance as the preacher in Coming to America, right? Like it's just as ridiculous. Right next to Derek Queen. So yeah, he's fucking laying it on thick, and just being pretty ridiculous. And apparently everybody is having grape drink. That's what they're putting the chemicals in at the church. That's why everybody's up and grinding and shit during this song.
Yeah, he's just playing Back That Ass Up.
Yeah, that's right.
That's playing.
That's the song that's playing.
That's fucking wild, yo. Like I don't need to see Granny backing that ass up, yo. Like that's fucking nuts. I mean, it's wild enough that I watched the Juvenile Tiny Desk thing he did for NPR the other day. I was like, this is so bizarre.
Juvenile had a tiny desk?
Yeah. You even see the clips from that shit?
No.
Yeah, he did. Just like
I don't like Juvenile. So,
I mean, it's like 2 weeks ago. It's just weird. I'm like, okay. Like, it's a weird artist to see do a Tiny Desk for NPR.
How many songs did he play? 4? How many songs did Juvenile have? Because I don't know.
I know like 2 or 3 Juvenile songs. That's about it. So, but it's okay. I highly recommend it. It was just a funny thing to watch. So I guess they stay at the church until everybody leaves. It's like a weird jump in time, right? Like they were there during the, what do they call this, Micah? Show?
Praise and worship.
Right. There you go.
The show, the concert. Yeah, it's the concert that they have before the service. Every church,
a halftime show or whatever it is. What is it?
Well, no, they do that. They do that in the beginning, right, to kind of get you pumped up, right? It's a pep rally. It's a pep rally to talk about God. Yeah, and then you know you get the star attraction to come out, and because you got to get everybody in a good mood before you ask them for money. You know what I'm saying? Like, or they'll do the con. What they do is they do the praise and worship and the pass the plate around at the same time because you're in a good mood. Like, oh, boom, 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 like the tambourines going and shit, right? You got the tambourines going, like that sounds like money, right? Jingling, so it's like, oh, get that money out.
Nothing is funnier than watching Tiara react to like.
No. This is no. I don't go to church, and I don't like giving my money
churches?
Away to
others. You live in California, don't they? They still believe in God out there, don't they? Or nah, not really.
No,
not California. What the fuck?
No, they got like
it is hot as
they got like the celebrity churches, right?
Oh my God!
With, like,
listen,
Justin Bieber
okay, no, look, the Scientology commercials out here, they are so deceptive because I'm not gonna lie. I sometimes watch these YouTube ads and I'm like, wow, this is a really good commercial. What community is this? I think I'll look it up. Then it's like, bam, Scientology. I'm like, oh, never mind.
You're like, I feel like I need to get clear. I need to go clear.
They make it seem like so much fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Cults are fun. You don't have to think about anything. It's great.
But because it is a cult, I'm good.
Too bad. So they find under this the pulpit of the church, they find like a little button or what have you that they press, or excuse me, they use a key card rather that they found, and the entire pulpit rises up, and there is a secret elevator underneath. Dun dun dun. And for some reason, again, these 3 niggas get on the elevator with no problem. I don't. They just dying.
Couldn't be me.
No, they have a funny little singing thing between Jamie Foxx and Teyonah Parris' characters, which was it worked for me. I thought it was pretty funny.
What song were they parodying?
Because I can't hear it, I couldn't tell you right this second, but I knew what it was.
You don't remember?
I don't remember what it was.
Oh. I wanted to know if you knew the song because you're not an R&B person. I'm going down by
Fuck. Jesus Christ.
2 people did it. Do you know?
Oh hell no.
Mary J. Blige was
Mary
a
J.
remake.
Blige. Yeah, I definitely don't know the original. No, fuck no.
It was Rolls Royce.
Oh no.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
I mean, I know who Rolls Royce is.
The car?
Yes, I know who Rolls Royce is. Thank you. Fuck you, nigga. Like, So yeah, that was a funny little bit. I appreciated that. They eventually get down to the basement. They like sneak into like a bathroom, and they see a couple people in contagion suits because they don't want to get nigger on them.
Yeah,
And,
the only 3 people, the only 3 people in this entire establishment that have full body, containment outfits.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Everyone else doesn't.
That just happen to be at the right size and fit for all of them. Is
Right.
I mean, again, that's a very blaxploitation thing. Like it's just like a series of conveniences, right? Like that, and that's fine. Again, we're not.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not
the
mad at it.
plot.
I'm just laughing at it.
Yeah. They eventually see a map like it's in a mall, and they're like, "You are here," and they can see that there's an entire facility running underneath the Glen. All to exploit the Glen and do whatever it is they're doing. It's amazing. All these white people have made it here. And so apparently there's cereal, there's chicken, there's hair care products, all of this solely designed to fuck over black people and woo us into complacency. I have a question, a serious note. Do you think that there is, I hate to say conspiracy because that sounds silly, but conspiracy is just a plot between multiple people, really. Do you think there is a conspiracy to keep black people unhealthy in this country so that we have, like there's more damage to us and, harming us in the long term?
I don't think it's exclusive to black people. I think it's more of a class thing.
Okay, that's fine.
There are certainly, I think black people get fucked in ways like gerrymandering. You know what I mean? Like that is specifically a race thing. That is not a class thing. That is specifically a race thing. But I think like the food industry is, I think this is a class thing. You got to keep a certain element down no matter what they look like. Now, in order to do this effectively, you still have to put the races against each other, right? Mm-hmm. But I think the powers that be are handing out them same fucking nasty ass hamburgers in South Baltimore as they are in West and East Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think it might be more effective in our areas. I think it might be way more effective in our areas because one, we don't see ourselves in shit, right? So I'll never forget this McDonald's commercial from the 90s where it was a dude singing to his girl about fucking chicken nuggets in an R&B style. And I'm just like, yo, well, whatever. Like, even worse.
And they always put it on beat.
Yeah, yo, like, what the fuck? Like, I was mad at that shit. But I kind of wanted some chicken.
That commercial's expensive. Hey,
it is, yo. It is.
This
nigga. Remember this nigga?
Yeah. Dance with the drumsticks in his hand.
Yeah, come on, yo.
Nah,
I thought that was just a meme.
No,
that's a real commercial.
Yeah, that it became a meme because it was so fucking ridiculous.
Nigga, are you serious?
I think so, yo.
I swear I've never seen that commercial.
But Mary J. Blige did crispy.
Yeah, she did
the crispy chicken.
Yeah, that shit was fucked up.
Yeah, come on, yo. Come on.
Yeah, you know better, Mary J. Yo, come on, yo. Like you can't do that. Like you can't. You can't.
And you know what's fucked up?
Lord,
it was mad effective, yo. It's mad effective. because she had a song out at that time that was essentially the same song, just with the lyrics changed. Yeah, God damn it.
Now I hope that check was fat, yo. Like I hope that check was really fat. Like you singing the song, you don't realize like I'm singing about.
Wasn't she dancing on a table in the commercial? Or am I tripping?
I hope she wasn't dancing. Like that is not effective.
Dancing in air quotes, right? That old Frankenstein move she got. I really wouldn't call dancing.
It's the closest you ever get to the Elaine dance in real life.
I know he wasn't. Wait, let me see this.
But like
a stage pops up in the Burger King, and like she starts singing.
Nah, yo, I don't like that. Like, nah, yo, I honestly think like black people, we're not allowed to sing about chicken. Yo, like we can't. Yo, we can't. I don't care how it's prepared. Yo, like I don't care how it's prepared. Like I don't care if it's roasted. Yo, like you can't.
Yeah, it ain't even chicken at this point. I don't want us singing for food. Yo, I don't want us singing for our food.
Fair. That's fair.
Why?
Because yo, oh, you want this? Perform. What the fuck? No, yo. It could be fucking filet mignon. I'm not singing for that shit.
I agree.
That's
okay.
That's respectability
anyway,
politics right there.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is respectability politics. And you know what? As correct as Terrence is that it is respectability politics, I'm okay with that. Like I'm really okay with that, yo. I'm not cool with us singing for chicken. I don't like it. I don't like it.
What is black liberation?
All right, well, you get out there. You know what? Let me
black
zoom in on
liberation
you.
is not.
No, I'm gonna zoom in on Tiara's
crispy chicken, fresh lettuce.
Nah, yo, no, Tiara talking shit. Nah, you gonna call HR. I'm gonna zoom in on you. We gonna do. You can sing for chicken, and not just any chicken.
No.
Fried chicken. Go ahead. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Put
it on social media.
Chicken, yo, mass market fried chicken from a burger place. What the fuck? Come on, yo. If you're gonna sing for some fucking chicken, at least sing for like Popeyes or some shit. Something that's got chicken in the name.
It can't be air fried chicken. Just
no, too healthy. Too healthy. No. Absolutely not. Deep fried.
Just crispy chicken.
I just spray the canola oil on it and just make sure it's nice
and ranch dressing. That's what's on that's on the crispy chicken sandwich.
I mean, it's good though. But like, it is good.
I want some chicken right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm hungry.
I ain't got no problem. I ain't got no problem with your Blige hawking chicken. I got a problem with her singing about hawking chicken. Yo,
it feels too menstrual to me. Like it just does. Like that to me is
like. Do you want to see a commercial with Lamar Jackson throwing a drumstick at Odell Beckham? Yo, do you want to see that?
Is it a Royal Farms endorsement?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not?
I mean,
and you'll see all the salt fall off the fucking thing.
You're the nigga fucking high blood pressure.
Look, I actually don't know if I would be bothered by that, only because
I would not even watch football.
I don't know. I don't know if I would be bothered by that.
Deeply offended.
Yo, just be a spokesperson, yo. Just be a spokesperson.
Look, you know what the fucked up thing is? This is how
articulate spokesperson.
Look, this is how I know companies are well aware of racism, so there's no fucking excuse. In Baltimore, the Royal Farms chicken ads are all white people. Every single like billboard is like a little white kid like, I sure do like fried chicken. They know
it's Justin Tucker from the Ravens. Justin Tucker,
like the whitest dude on the fucking football team. Like, I love this chicken. Like, all right.
10 years ago, it was the Samoan Haloti Nada who was a.
Yep, they're not gonna put a black person on that billboard. Fuck no.
No, you're right.
Rofo chicken. Are you kidding me? It's not like black people don't eat it.
You will not see Lamar Jackson doing a chicken box commercial for Royal Farms.
Salt, pepper, ketchup. Come get it.
Even though Lamar Jackson does own a soul food spot where he does sell fried chicken and raw fish.
I mean,
that's fine. That's fine, yo. That's fine.
His. It's all right.
That's fine. It's his, and it's not fucking gas station chicken.
But it's good chicken, though.
Yeah. What, his? Yeah, I bet it is.
Royal Farms is good.
It's too greasy.
Was he from Florida?
Yeah,
Yes,
he's from Florida.
He from the same place Ray Lewis from.
Oh,
They are mad country.
all right. Those
Mad
two
country.
niggas. All right.
What I was trying to say earlier is that like
Is
I
he on
think
the
I don't.
Zaxby's?
Zaxby's is not great.
That's why I said it.
Gross. Bojangles is by far better than Royal Farms.
Never been to a Bojangles. As many times as I've been to Florida and Atlanta, I've never been to a Bojangles.
If anyone would love to send me some Bowberry biscuits to Los Angeles, please.
Stop digital begging. You're not gonna do digital panhandling for chicken on my show. Like I refuse to be a part of this. I don't like.
Hey, look, I ain't gonna lie. I may go get some chicken after this because the Popeyes I go to. Sometimes I like to get the 5-piece tenders, but she just fills up the box. She just fills it up. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a Popeyes question.
That's that mind control shit.
And I think
He's not incorrect.
every Popeyes in my area, and I live in like a pretty like every Popeyes in my area is owned by Hispanic people. Is that true for you also, or is it weirdly different?
No, it's Hispanics who run the Popeyes out here. The ones I go to.
Yeah, the Popeye up the street for me is nothing but Hispanic folks in the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Do you want me to check my local Popeyes?
We already know. I think we know the answer.
Yo, you go in there, it's gonna be a bunch of black folks, and just be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I'd be furious. Like, yo, everybody get out. Like, get out. Like, what are you doing here? We can do better than this. We can do better than this. That's funny. I'll check and get back to you.
I was gonna say that like I don't think there's a conspiracy per se, but like I just don't think they give a fuck about our health in a sense for the things they do to try to like develop certain areas. So what comes to mind are when they're building like interstate highways and they put them through black neighborhoods, or whenever they have like
this is what I wanted to dig into. Go ahead.
Or whenever they're like trying to dump environmental waste and they dump them in near black neighborhoods, and then you find out that there's like a prevalence of like cancer and other kind of health behaviors. I don't think it's intentional to quote unquote harm black people, but I think it's like, oh, we just don't give a fuck about them. They're disposable, so we don't care if they live or die or whatever. But I don't think it's necessarily like, I don't think they're like, oh, we know black people would get this as a result of this. It's more of like, we don't care because they're just disposable. I just don't think they think of us in that way. I just think that we're disposable.
Yeah. So there was an interesting report that came out. It was like a document from, I don't know, it was like 1800 something. And it was basically like this prominent professor or doctor or what have you was saying, like, if we want to get rid, is a white guy, of course, saying like, if we want to deal with issues of the black issue in America, the best thing to do is to deny them health care for 2 generations. And that should pretty much weed out most black people. Right. And that sentiment has permeated every healthcare debate since then. Right. This very idea that the denial of universal health care to Americans in general was because they did not want black people to have it. When Theodore Roosevelt suggested it, it was knocked down for that very reason. Like, well, but what about the black people getting it? FDR did. What about the black people getting it? And a lot of the arguments, Ted Kennedy, when he tried to push it during Nixon's time, very similar arguments, right? Through like, what about class? What about, like that kind of thing. But it was all fairly aimed at keeping the poorest people, of course, black people, out of, keeping their hands out of reach of proper healthcare. And you even see that today. And I think that is part of the reason why Obama's success in getting Obamacare passed, while not universal health care, certainly a step towards that, a significant step towards that. I think that's part of the reason they are so furious about keeping it. Now, they may say it's about poor people or, getting, people freedoms or whatever. But I don't think they're thinking like, let's make sure black people don't get it to kill the race necessarily. But I think this is how deeply seated racism is and classism is in this country, that if you just say it over and over again, by the time you get away from it 30, 40, 60 years later, 80 years later, it doesn't feel like you're saying about black people, but it still affects black people disproportionately, right? So, yeah, I mean, the movie is very silly in a lot of ways, but I think it does touch on this idea of, you know, these sort of conspiracies that are not that crazy, you know, like it's a little crazy, the cloning aspect, right? But it isn't that crazy to think about people being denied healthcare and stuff like that solely on the reason of like, fuck those people. I don't want to share the planet with them. Like, you brought us, we didn't want to come. So,
right.
So I just find that sort of stuff curious.
I mean, I can see, like, I totally understand, like, like why black folks would be conspiratorial when it comes to that, because like that kind of thinking, it impacts even like medical associations and the way that people will treat us, like, in real time, like when it comes to our health. So I totally understand that part. In fact, I know people who have, I know people who have been denied aspects of healthcare because people just assume they can't afford something, or they could withstand something just because they're a black person. I'm mainly talking about black women here, but yeah, so I totally understand.
That's actually in like medical books.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they finally put that information out. Like, they say that black women or black folks in general can withstand more pain because they're black.
Mm-hmm.
That's in like legit medical books.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah,
up until
is obviously
maybe like 4 years ago with some wild shit like that.
When my wife was pregnant, that story about the first time, that story about that one family who the mother died because no one would tend to her, and the dad was just flipping the fuck out because, like, hey, I need somebody to tend to my wife. She says something's wrong, and nobody fucking believed him. That was just running through my head both times that she was pregnant. And it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And it's scary, man. Like, the fact that, and look, I don't think that those people were like, fuck her because she's black. I think they were like, all right, I'll get to you in a minute. Like, they didn't care. Apathy.
Right.
I would respect it a little more if she were like, no, fuck you, you're black. Like, at least I know where you stand. Yo, you just didn't care. You didn't care enough because she was black. And it's like,
and your job is to care. Universally,
you're a fucking nurse or a doctor or whatever.
But it's that same logical thing that I was getting at earlier when I said, like, when it comes to things like dumping in predominantly black areas, like, they don't care. They're apathetic to the consequences because they're definitely not doing this in white neighborhoods. They just don't care. I mean, and even then, like, to your point, Micah, is anytime, and this is where it definitely goes into just implicit bias when it comes to race, not necessarily class, but like folks like Serena and Beyonce have given their stories about how they've been ignored during their pregnancies, and have had to advocate for themselves. And those are like the two of the most famous black women in the world, and they've experienced almost something similar.
Because
they just don't care.
I mean, there wasn't like Serena. She had like a major complication, right? Like when she was giving birth, right? And it was like she could have died. And again, if she's not getting the respect of I would argue she probably knows her body better than most, considering how much of an athlete she is, right? And
can afford the best healthcare too. Right.
But if she is saying that and she is being largely ignored, and then you got to kind of step in and like advocate a little bit harder for yourself, because correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a whole thing where she was saying, hey, like, I don't feel well, XYZ, and her husband, who's a white guy, was like, he said something, and then they started
Yep.
being like, oh, okay, I guess this white man said it. I guess this is the thing. It's like, yo, it's one, she's pregnant. Two, she's the big name here. Like, if I'm a doctor at a hospital and Serena's like, I need something, like, you got it. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't need a bad Yelp review. Like, get out of here. Like, but even
This is what. So this
even
is
she
what she
can't,
said.
you know, market that kind of thing, and that's just ridiculous.
So this is what the actual story is. The story is that she said after giving birth, she began to lose feeling in her legs, and the pain increased. But the hospital staff didn't seem overly concerned, and she wanted to get tests to see if blood clots had formed while she was off her other regular medication. And she says that they were trying to talk to her, but she was thinking that, oh my God, that she's dying. And then more finally, the test revealed that immediate surgery was necessary to keep blood clots from reaching her lungs. That was when she was giving birth.
That's wild, dude. So we could have ended up losing one of the greatest athletes of all time, not even in her 40s at that point, because she can't be listened. They couldn't bother to listen to her, right? She can't advocate for herself loud enough until you know, having someone else intervene, which is ridiculous. But yeah, it's I'm always curious about, like, this is a thing that I think movies do a very good job at, and not just this movie, but other movies that actually have messages, which is to take things like medical care and these sort of ideas of ignoring black people and stuff like that, and kind of synthesize them down to stories that people can understand. It's not designed to think like, this exact thing is happening, bro. Like, it's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be, hey, you should probably be aware that these kind of things as a generality exist and they hurt us, and pay attention to them, right? Or stay woke, as white people have ruined, right? So I do appreciate that they're trying to kind of get these things across. So that is good news for this movie. So at this point, you know, we get a scene where the three have now happened. They're still in the lab, and they've happened upon all of these clones, and they start to see clones of themselves, or clones of Slick Charles, and clones of Fontaine. Then Fontaine, you know, he does find one of himself, and he just starts doing what we do best. Start shooting.
Did you guys figure that Slick Charles was a clone too, like before this point, or did you just think it was just Tyrone? I know, Mike, you said that you've seen movies like this before, but like, did y'all assume that, or think that Slick Charles and Yo-Yo were going to be clones as well?
I assumed that they were going to be, of course.
Later in the movie, but not at this point. Not at this point in time.
Yeah, not at this point. No, not at this point. But once, well, I guess Kiefer Sutherland kind of comes in and tells you, like, yeah, we cloned you too, nigga.
Surprise.
But no, I didn't picture it at this point.
Then they, I mean, luckily for them, they end up at a strip club. That's pretty good. And the DJ, he's a white guy with an afro. Again, very unacceptable. He looks like, what's that one comedian who used to do the show with, like, Charlemagne? What's that white dude's name?
Schultz?
Yeah, Andy Schultz.
Andrew Schultz? Yeah, he does.
They should have just had him play him. So yeah, they pop out of the lab, and one of the exits for the lab is into the strip club. And so when they walk out into the strip club, and the DJ sees them and starts playing this song called Ruckus by somebody named Ruckus, and it's like really making everybody like super mellow, and they all seem to be mind controlled. And then they're basically they're all used like zombies to attack the principal three characters, and they all drive off.
I think Terrence mentioned respectability politics jokingly, but do you think this movie is commenting on that? do you think this movie is obviously like, you know, is this movie saying you niggas shouldn't be eating fried chicken, you niggas shouldn't be drinking grape drink, you niggas shouldn't be getting your hair straight, you niggas shouldn't be listening to this music? Do you think the movie is talking about that?
I don't think so.
Like trying to advocate that? I
mean, maybe
you can
I
interpret
don't
it as that.
Sure.
Like you can
I feel like someone can
definitely
easily interpret that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was half written by a white man.
Well,
Uh-oh.
that's it.
Oh, was it?
That's it. Yes, it was.
Yes.
Oh, people were legit mad about
it's
that?
a writing
okay.
duo.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, weren't a lot of blaxploitation movies like co-written, and definitely a lot of them directed by white people.
There were a lot of them directed by the man, if you will.
Think about it.
So yeah, I don't know. It's possible, but we love that stuff.
Here's the thing,
And people, I
Everybody
can
does.
understand why people were angry. I can understand why people were angry because they were putting it in the gray. I mean, again, it's the satire of the whole thing that we've seen 1,000 times before. But they're putting all the shit in like the shit that we use, like grape drink, which I was never a fan of grape juice to begin with, first of all, and fried chicken, and the hair care products,
just for me.
and the church. You know, like
Right.
it's all the black shit. But
I mean,
you know, who knows?
Which is interesting, right? Because like things like the church and things like fried chicken were essential to, in a lot of ways, Black people's survival, like
exactly.
post slavery, during slavery, and then like thinking about like hair care products, that was used as a way to kind of to try to assimilate, to be more acceptable in society. So I can see why someone would see it's a commentary on respectability politics, whether the movie is arguing against it or saying like, here's what white people are shaming you for, even though you were kind of forced in this position to act out of this way anyway for your own survival. So I think that's another way to kind of think of it too.
Yeah. I mean, your point about those things being used as methods, post-slavery, to sort of for Black people to survive is actually 100% correct. I don't know. I don't know that I think that it's making a comment about respectability politics. I certainly can see that perspective, right? Like I can understand why someone would draw that. The reason why I would say it isn't is because of who the three main characters are, right? They are a pimp, a hoe, and hooker, and a drug dealer,
Sex worker.
Sure, and yeah, she's working. And,
It's sex worker with natural hair, with the sex worker with natural hair.
Yeah, all of them with natural hair, by the way, all of them. And incidentally, in this moment that we're about to talk about, another clone of John Boyega shows up, and that person has his hair. He's got like a conch perm, like you know what I mean. So it's like it's kind of wild. So yeah, it's interesting, right? Like those three characters, to explain the basics of blaxploitation for a second here, like those three characters are stereotypes of Black people. Like they are raging obvious stereotypes of Black people. And the reason that exists is to take those stereotypes and throw them in the face of white people because Black people are exploited by those stereotypes in film, and to take those stereotypes and throw them back in the face of white people and make them heroes. That's the whole point. So if you're writing things like, I turned it off after 7 minutes because he said, use a hoe, you miss the entire point of the fucking genre for, fucking 15 years. But like that to me is the reason I don't think it's sort of being anti-respectability politics or making a commentary on it. Because I think the whole point is that Black people can be heroes in any aspect, right? There's a reason why Pam Grier is almost always a hooker in her movies. She's a hooker, but she's like a badass who like kicks ass and like saves people and stuff. Like quite literally, like that's, what was it? Is that Coffee? She's like a prostitute, right? Like it's so I don't understand. I can
Well,
understand
also-
that perspective, but I think it misses the whole point of the genre.
Well, but also, like, yes, all three of those characters are very stereotypical and for some Black folks, mainly Black conservatives, who will be worried about being around critical those types of Negroes, those types of Negroes who break open this large conspiracy theory. So yeah, maybe there's commentary on that like,
well, they live there. That's the difference,
Yeah.
by the way. They live in it. You know, so-called Black
I don't think
conservatives
she was
wouldn't
a
be there. They wouldn't
Right.
likely be
She
there.
was a nurse court.
I mean, they're not, though. What Black conservatives are
Hmm.
there? Right?
Yeah,
Like,
they probably would have.
they
they'd all
would
be
bail. I mean, I guess you could make the argument that the one true Fontaine, like the real one, the original,
Right.
became a Black conservative.
Yes.
Here came Clarence Thomas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
For the stupidest fucking reason. Not for the stupidest reason, but I just,
But
That's
don't
what
make
I'm saying.
sense.
you know
No,
what,
but-
though? I'm going to push back on this for a second because it is a stupid fucking reason in the movie, but look at Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas
Right.
Yeah, he
wasn't told
became
that
a
he
Black
was
conservative for a stupid fucking reason
right.
too.
He
That-
wasn't said
that-
that he wasn't Black enough or anything like that. He was an affirmative action hire. He got treated like shit by white people in college at Harvard or Yale or wherever. He did all that, and then he turned to ally with them.
Yep.
Black people ain't do shit to him.
When we started this episode, I
That's
mentioned
what
like,
I'm saying. This nigga is stupid too.
Right? No, I
Well,
agree with you.
yeah.
I'm just
Right,
saying. This
right,
Is,
we
this
agree.
Is more true to life than we agree. Than
but like
than you would think.
that's what I said at the beginning of this episode. I was like, yeah, this is how Black conservative is born, because to have all these things happen to you, and your solution is to become part of that group that causes trauma in your life due to the color of your skin. That is Black conservative thinking. That's
Look, there was a great article not too long ago. We talked about on Look Forward. It was called "Complicity Will Not Save You." It was about conservative women, but it's the same thing applies. Cozying up to conservatism or anti-blackness and everything else as a Black person in this case is not going to save you. Incidentally, in this movie, it literally gets you fucking killed. Right? Like, it didn't say it didn't save him, right? Like, Black people found out and were like, I think it's time for you to go. But it's and rightfully so. So like this idea of cozying up to what is perceived as the enemy to Black people in the U.S. and Black people's survival, it's not a winning strategy for any Black person. It just simply isn't. A textbook example is recently Black conservatives in the Republican Party are pissed that Florida passed that law that like slavery wasn't that bad. Everybody became a blacksmith. Bullshit. And
That's still really funny, dude.
and Byron Donalds and a bunch of other Black Republicans were like, wait a minute, I'm from Florida. I don't like this. This is fucked up. And it's like, yeah, nigga, this is your party. This is what you joined up with. These are the people you advocate and stand next to and get attaboys in Congress from.
but
They don't
even
like you.
then,
They never
but
did.
even if they still didn't go far enough, because and if they did go far enough, they wouldn't be Black conservatives in the first place. But like Tim Scott even said, like, maybe Ron DeSantis was just having a bad day, and we all have bad days, and maybe he didn't mean what he
bad
said.
day?
Still,
What the fuck?
like, bro, like that's not. No, he meant what he said. So, but even then, but that's the point where it's just like they clearly made a point to say that slavery benefited Black people, and even then they're just like, okay, maybe you were misunderstood about what you said. Like, really? Okay.
No, they know exactly what they're saying. They know that they can say whatever the fuck they want, and those fucking jackasses will go right along with it because they just want to be adjacent to power, which is pathetic to me. It's pathetic. But you know, I'm not a punk bitch ass nigga, so like I don't live like that. Like, I just don't. Like I just don't. Like I just can't imagine somebody being like, could you do a little soft shoe? And I'd be like, yes, boss. Like, nah, yo, fuck that. Like, nah, yo, get out of here. Shit's crazy to me. So yeah, the principal characters they meet Nixon. If that could not be any more on the nose. They meet a white guy named Nixon, played by fucking 24 himself, Kiefer Sutherland. Micah, this guy, he's your little personal Jesus. This guy, right? Jack Bauer can't be killed, right?
I do like Jack Bauer. Look, I'm probably the most center of all of us politically. But like 24 is my conservative wet dream, man. That is a conservative wet dream. He's such a fucking white man taking the law into his own hands, murdering brown people, defying Chinese people, all in a day. Doesn't even sleep. He stays awake for America, defending it.
That was a wild series, yeah. I tapped
it
out.
Was. I even like Black Bauer. Dr. Dre, Kip. What the fuck is that dude's name?
Yeah, Kith from Futurama.
Kith, yeah, Kith from Futurama, because he got them weird eyes.
That guy's a good actor. Like
Corey Hawkins.
Yeah, Corey Hawkins.
I like that guy, man.
No, he's a good actor actually. I like him a lot. Yeah, so he's there to basically explain the movie to dum-dums. that's how I saw it. He was like, if you've made it this far, let me explain it to you. So he's like, look, basically the founding fathers were great, but they were also assholes. And they set up these ideals that we can't live up to. Thanks for the slaves, like that was, helpful to them. And so because the country has no dialogue, no common ground, no peace, their idea is to just assimilate black people. And they are going to do that by controlling them and all the food and everything they consume and the products that they consume to make them docile. And then you come to find out, like, then why are you cloning pimps and drug dealers? He's like, yeah, there needs to be a certain je ne sais quoi to keep people away from this town. It's got to have a certain flavor so they can do what they need to do. He said basically otherwise it'd be gentrified within 3 weeks, which is hilarious and also true. So yeah, like yeah, it's like you're making a lot of sense. So yeah, you just kind of come to find out, like, listen, this is what they're doing. He said to Fontaine, "You're a fucking patriot. You're Captain America." It was like, okay, that's fucked up considering what happens. And then he controls them and makes Fontaine like hold a gun at Yo-Yo and then put a gun in his own mouth and all this other stuff because he can control them and do whatever the fuck he wants. So yeah, they basically all have like a turn of phrase or something that he can say to them, and then they all just become complicit. And standing with Nixon is a clone of Fontaine, who again has a conk perm and looks ridiculous. So yeah, and so Nixon leaves after basically embarrassing them and showing that they have no power over him. And then all the black people standing there who were trying to chase him like it was a Thriller video, they're all confused and they don't know why they're there.
Right. And this is why he explains why Yo-Yo isn't a clone, because he's like, you're a hooker, you're a dime a dozen. There's no point in fucking even cloning you. Because as a black woman, you don't matter. Message.
Yeah. That was. I'm like, yeah.
That's right.
That
Pretty
was
much what it was all about.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah, again, there's some very good things about this movie. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot to really enjoy about it. And I appreciate, doing some good messaging. We fast forward. Fontaine comes home after that situation. He goes to talk to his mom, and then he's like, goes in the room, and it's just a recording of his mom just saying shit. And so he realizes that he's been duped this whole time, and that like his entire life is just a fucking lie. And so he starts kind of freaking out. He goes to see Slick Charles, and they're all kind of like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Like, this is too big for us, right? Like, this is too wide reaching, and maybe they should just kind of hang it up. Like, they're both clones, nothing is real, like, so who cares, right? And look, that to me speaks to not necessarily a complacency with black people, because I don't think most of us are particularly complacent, but it does speak to the exhaustion of being black, of being persecuted and treated like garbage, and having opportunities ripped away from you and things like that, just over and over and over again, and also just having to fight all the time, right? Like, I feel like the closest you're seeing to that, like, in the mainstream for white people, is in politics, is like liberal people being like, fuck, we gotta fight again, another election. Yeah, you have to fight forever. Like, you're gonna have to fight forever. Shit's fucked up, and you gotta keep fighting forever.
Surprise.
Welcome to our world, right? And that's why black people can be down front all the time, because they're like, yeah, nigga, what is it, Tuesday? Like, we've been doing this. Like, we've been marching like
That's
every
why
day.
black people don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear a bunch of complaining and shit, because it's like, all right, yo, whatever. Like, we've been doing this shit for a long time, man.
Right. And just
all you got to do is exercise your civic duty, right? Like,
right.
You literally have to do the least amount of work, to actually like really make a difference.
Yeah, we can throw our bodies on the fucking bonfire, and it might move the needle slightly for a moment, right? Like, maybe it does, or maybe it doesn't, right? So, but yeah, white people, voting in mass for the right shit. Yeah, you can actually make long-term change. It'd be nice. Get off your duff. So they're just sort of contemplating, like, giving up. And again, I think black people deal with that all the time, right? Like ironically, when people tell you not to vote and all that other shit, that's them giving up, because they get tired. They don't want to admit it, but they're just like, why don't we just try it out and just see? Because they tired of fighting too. And like, as angry as they make me, I get it. It's exhausting. But that's not the right answer. Like, again, complacency is not going to fucking solve anything. It just isn't. So eventually they decide, like, nah, fuck that. We're not just gonna fucking lay down for this shit. Like, this is ridiculous. And they get themselves back in the lab, and start trying to figure out, like, what the fuck is going on. We see more of the, like, sort of experimentation.
Yo-Yo gets kidnapped.
Right.
You skipped that part. Yo-Yo is sent. She's walking to a. It's a funny scene. She's walking to a mailbox looking. Somebody says she looks like Carmen Sandiego, and she puts a letter in the mailbox, but she gets kidnapped. And the other sex worker, Carmen Sandiego. Yeah, that was funny. So Slick Charles and Fontaine go back to where she was, with, like, to the streets, and they tells them that Coco went missing. They're trying to find her, and they're like, yeah, she got picked up by this car or whatever.
Right. So they have Fontaine and Slick Charles and Isaac have this plan to rescue Yo-Yo, faking his death to sneak into the lab undetected. Fontaine lets Slick Charles and Isaac into the lab with numerous residents of the Glen. They free the black people being experimented on, including the clones, while Yo-Yo frees herself and finds Slick Charles. Another message: the black woman frees herself. She doesn't wait for these men to save her. Again,
yeah, they set up, and this is the part where I'm like, this plan doesn't make any sense, right? Because they're like, okay, we got to set this up. We have to make it look like you died, right?
Right.
So he goes to Isaac. Is like, look, I need you to kill me, or look like you killed me. And then they do it. They pick him up. They put him in the morgue, and then they take his clone, and they clone him. They do whatever they do to give him the memories, and they clone him, and he goes back into the streets. Meanwhile, the other clone of Fontaine gets up out of the body bag, and they kidnap the clone and put him in a motel and just leave him there, right?
Chester.
Yeah. I think it was, who was it? Slick Charles kidnaps him and puts him in the hotel. It's like, sorry, bro, we got to keep you here. But what happens to him at the end? Right.
I mean, they kind of throw it away. They throw it away, right? They give a throwaway line that Jamie Foxx is like, "Oh man, I got a pissed off Fontaine clone back at the hotel,
right?
I got to figure out what to do with it." Like, yeah,
okay,
nigga,
so
you got to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, no kidding.
And there's another part that doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah,
that we'll get to. Because Slick Charles becomes a clone. His clone ends up, I guess, killing Nixon.
Yeah, I didn't.
But like,
they fooled me with the switcheroo.
Yeah,
right?
Here,
like,
put on all of my
what's the name? Right. What's the name saves herself because she has a wig, which was really funny. That's why the chemicals didn't get.
And
to her
super
hair.
fucking clever, right? Like I actually
Yeah.
really,
that was
actually
right.
really, really clever because they made reference to her wearing a wig, but I didn't piece it together. You know what I mean? That was actually really clever.
So she frees herself, like you said, because the black woman got to free herself. So she comes out, and there's a part where Nixon, they have like a standoff. Nixon, Yo-Yo, and Slim Charles or Slick Charles. Now, the clones have to be programmed before they can go back out into, the world.
Right.
So what was it about the clone that they pulled out of the pod that he had this connection to Yo-Yo? Doesn't make any sense.
Why are you bringing up bullshit?
I don't know if that clone was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck is this? Hey, who left these clothes here? Let me put these on. Oh shit,
Right.
I hear somebody. Let me go." Right? Like they
Like,
pulled
a
a twin magic,
hole.
and that's actually a pretty big plot hole,
I'm like, wait a minute, because he just came out the pod. So what? All right, I guess,
right.
Sure.
Especially because they established that, like, even if you aren't programmed, like you're not, you have to be programmed, and then when they program you, like, you don't know anything.
Right.
So here's just a Slick Charles.
They program the memories that whatever they program your memories again because what they want you to know. Because when they free everybody else, they're like children.
Right.
Right.
They can't even talk. So like again, another plot hole that I was just kind of like, that doesn't make sense. They already programmed the new Fontaine. So yeah, he's still got his memories and he's still sitting in the hotel room. But like, when did they program Slick Charles?
Don't worry about it.
So he actually gave a fuck about Yo-Yo.
Huh.
Or knew who she was. Very strange. I think it was just a plot hole. Like they were just like, it's the end of the movie. We ain't got time. Fuck.
Yeah, no, I mean, quite literally, like, we're not going to
probably
explain
what
that.
it was.
There's going to be one nigga from Baltimore who notices. Who cares? Like, let's move on. Nobody.
Maybe they cut it.
Again, you're giving a little too much credit.
Hey,
I feel like this, like, I feel like here's how this meeting went. You need to wrap this up. It's been 2 hours.
It's been an hour and 55 minutes.
Yeah,
wrap it up.
Let's get to the big reveal. So yeah, after Nixon is straight murdered, we get to meet the OG Fontaine, who is an old man, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm old, and I just decided to fuck over every black person because a white guy killed my brother. And it's like, oh, that makes sense. Thanks, Clarence. What the fuck is wrong with you? And he's like, look, slow motion better than no motion. So we just going to assimilate instead of be annihilated. Which is a wildly stupid thing to say. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know how a white man killing your brother translates into you wanting to destroy the ability of your people to there to be just black people and that everyone has to be mixed race. It doesn't make any sense. Also, our genes are mad dominant. So I don't know that, like, y'all sure y'all want to do this? Like, is that how you doing it? Because I feel like,
I mean, that's why all those white people got afros and shit. He was like, it's the hair, man. Like,
it's not working.
Our hair is so good. Our hair is so good. I can't figure out how to just make it limp and straight. Like,
that ain't how it works.
They keep coming out with afros.
Yeah, like African genes are mad strong. You know? Like they're mad strong.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like, there's not a lot of times like mixed children between a black and white parent comes out like, oh, do you have a black parent? No, that's not how that works.
Look at Barack Obama, yo. Right. He don't look nothing like his mama.
Nah,
like at all.
Nah, yo, like this is a bad plan. If you want, like, we're gonna get all the white people.
I mean, they probably wanted them to look like what's her name, Halsey, the singer Halsey. She's mixed race.
I don't know who I've heard.
Well, I guess if the dude is a nigga, right? Like, he would want them to look closer to black than white. I mean, he got
She's
this
biracial?
stupid
Are you
idea.
serious?
Yeah, her father's black. Mm-hmm.
I understand that.
Okay, I would not have
It's
guessed
the same for what's her name? Doja Cat. Her father's African.
Well, Doja Cat looks black.
Yeah, she looks black.
Does she?
Yes,
Halsey.
100%. Halsey doesn't
Yeah.
look black.
Halsey
at
looks
all.
like a straight up white woman.
What's her name's daughter? Quincy Jones' daughter. Like, she looks white.
Oh yeah,
Rashida Jones.
yeah, Rashida Jones.
Rashida Jones. Yeah, she looks just straight up white.
I think Rashida Jones looks
I don't
blacker
think she
than
looks
fucking
white.
Doja Cat.
She got-
talking about.
She looks something.
now.
She got black. She got black features, yo.
She looks spicy white.
Wait. You think that she looks more black than Doja Cat does?
Yes.
No, she doesn't.
You're wilding. Nah, yo, knock it off.
Okay.
Rashida Jones?
I know it. Rashida.
No.
Okay.
Nah, yo. Like, if anything, I would have been like, she's Puerto Rican. like, nah, yo, I would. Until someone told me that was Quincy Jones' daughter, I didn't know she was biracial at all.
Right.
At all.
Yeah, she looks white, but like, I don't think Doja Cat looks black. I don't.
Yeah, she does.
Wow,
she looks like a light.
Today,
She looks like a
today
black,
we
like a light-skinned
learned
black
that
girl.
Terrence has hit the age where his eyesight is
Doja
clearly
Cat.
fucked up. Terrence needs
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of Doja Cat. Doja Cat looks black to me.
Does she?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
she
Yeah,
does.
Absolutely.
Yes, she
Mm.
Who in the
does.
world? There's
She don't
nothing
even
but
look like
women
a. She
that
don't
looks
even look
white.
like a tan white woman, yo. She don't even
Nah,
look like a
she
tan
don't.
white woman. She look black.
She looks like a light skinned black girl.
Yeah, she does. She does.
Yeah.
She looks like she's had facial surgery, though. I will say that. And considering the story,
I
we've heard
guess
about
she
Doja
might
Cat.
look like.
I
Might look
don't know. This
Puerto Rican or something.
This
I don't
one
know.
picture. This one picture, she looked red. Like I don't know what the fuck she wearing. I guess this was at the Met Gala.
Yeah, there's one.
Yeah.
She's like a cat. Like,
Yeah, she's like
quite literally.
She's like, it's like a bunch of crystals or some shit like that. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Man,
there's
here's
one.
another
mean,
one where she
okay.
looks like a cow. What in
Yeah,
the world? She looks like a
Yeah,
cow in this picture.
She
What
looks
is
like
that?
a character from Zoobly Zoo. Like, this shit is weird.
I mean, I guess.
That's an old
I don't know.
reference. That's an old reference. Yeah, nah, Terrence, your eyesight is leaving you. Like, it's all right, bro.
It
Like,
actually
we all
I was getting my mulattoes mixed up. Rashida
Oh my
Jones.
God.
and Rudolph. I was getting them confused for a
I
moment.
hate you.
I mean, they all look alike.
yeah,
so,
oh yeah, of
you know.
course. Yeah, that's how it goes. So at a certain point, our Fontaine is like, I'm just gonna say the magic word and control this other Fontaine, the one with the conch perm, and just have him shoot
black.
old Fontaine in the head. And I don't know, that worked for me. I liked it because he was like, "Nah, fuck that. Like, you're not gonna continue fucking over black people. This is fucked up." Then we get a news break, and there are black people everywhere, and they're mad because they're like, "Yo, there's clones. There's naked black people everywhere. Like, this shit is crazy." And just the news is kind of like, "Well, we don't know what to do. We just gonna film this shit. Like, we just confused, and we don't know where all these black people are." And then we see another clone wake up. And he's like, he gets up, he does his thing, he sits by the TV, and he's hanging out with his buddy, and he sees Fontaine on TV, and he's like, "Oh!" His friends are like, "Oh shit!"
His friends are like,
"Yo,
ain't that you?
Ain't that you?" Like, "Oh shit!" Yo, they cloned Tyrone. Credits.
Yeah, it was on the West Coast. He had to put on a fucking West Coast accent.
Yeah, Mork ass Buster, right?
More like, go to the store. Like, okay, I guess
store.
There are clones everywhere.
We would be remiss. We would be remiss to not talk. We would be remiss to not talk about the song that plays at the end.
Tyrone by Erykah.
Yeah, the Erykah Badu song. It was cute that they got her to re-record that song.
Yeah,
with the different lyrics. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, overall,
also
good
I love
movie.
Erykah Badu.
Overall,
I enjoyed it.
A good movie. Some plot issues, but yeah, I dug it. I think it works overall. So that's good. That's good. I'm cool to see them do some more stuff. Look, I wouldn't mind seeing some other directors, more established directors, or even small directors actually, take on some blaxploitation. Do you think that genre should like largely end when it did in the 70s, or do you think it's still a viable thing to kind of bring back?
Well, according to the internet, no, it's fucking exploitative. I mean, it's in the fucking name of the title. But yeah, I'd like to see them if they were done well. I love blaxploitation.
Yeah, they're fun.
Like, they're all fucking silly and ridiculous, but like they did them because we wanted to see ourselves. And I feel like I think I remember watching the there was a documentary I watched. Actually, Is That Black Enough for You?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were talking about like these were basically independent films, all of them. And they kind of kept they kind of kept Hollywood afloat for a while. Honestly.
Yeah, no, they made quite a lot of money for the tiny budgets.
Yeah. So yeah, I would like to see them. If they don't cost a lot of money, they're fun. Why not?
Yeah. Tiara, you're against this, right? You're
yeah. Jesus Christ!
I didn't know because like they might use the term mulatto, and like I know you'd be mad.
No, it's okay. It's okay if the movie does it. It's okay.
Oh wow, but we can't see.
No,
see the bias.
So I can't.
The movie.
It's in the dictionary. It's fine.
If fictional characters,
the movie co-written by a white man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Your hypocrisy.
Fine. Whatever.
You okay with that, huh? You okay with that?
Oh,
that's not what I said.
He was Korean.
Black filmmakers.
No, if they're Korean, they can't say it either.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think black filmmakers. I think black filmmakers can do whatever they want. I appreciate when black films kind of branch out into something that's not, stereotypical black.
Sure.
Right? Like, we need more black horror.
Yes,
right? Like we need
Yeah.
more. We need more black science fiction.
100%. That is
we-
completely
Mhm.
lacking.
We need more black fantasy, like black, high fantasy and shit like that.
No, that doesn't make
Um,
sense. You can't have black elves. Yeah, that don't make sense.
Sure you can. Sure you can.
According to-
Nigga, what the fuck? What the fuck is an elf but somebody with big ears? I'm
Yeah,
a
we
fucking
had one.
elf.
Yeah,
What
we
the
had
fuck?
one for president for 8 years. You guys were fine with it. Relax.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
Elves,
there's-
believable.
we need more,
Black
but
people,
yeah,
no.
that's what I want.
Like,
Exactly. Elves and dragons and hobbits and shit. That's perfectly fine. But a
Negroes
black version of
Ooh,
it,
too
a
far.
black elf? No.
Stop throwing your
no,
diversity in
no.
my face.
forced diversity. How else do you get diversity? Like, I'm confused. All right, I think that is it for us. That was episode 246. They Cloned Tyrone. We will be back next week with another preview episode. Later, guys.
See ya.
Take it easy.
Bye.
You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.